Hey, it's Steve Zalunardo and Janet back here with Treviso Realty. We're going to ask, we're going to go through some of the questions we're asked from clients back home. And it's number one is how to purchase a home in Florida. We got some points that we're looking at here. Then we're going to obviously talk to our professional here in town in Florida, and we're going to go through one step at a time. So how do we purchase a house in Florida, Janet?
Well, first of all, you call you or I and say you want to buy a home. And then, you talk to us and give us an idea of how you're going to use the home. Will it be a strictly investment property, or will it be a second home for you and your family, or is it going to be potentially a first home for your family that you're hoping to make a move to here permanently? So those are things that we need to know up front. And if you're undecided as to exactly how you're going to use the property, you can also talk to us and we can maybe give you some ideas of some things that are good transitional type of properties too.
I like your original answer off the cuff, bring money. And that's the second point. It's basically financing. How are you going to get financing?
Well, we have quite a few contacts with people that do provide financing for Canadian investors or foreign national investors that are coming into the country, TD and
RBC.
RBC,
yeah.
Right. There are some local companies as well, some mortgage brokers that I am aware of that do foreign national financing as well. So there's options.
I want to give a plug also during this segment, financial, because we have a Canadian company that we do business back in Toronto. They're actually opening up on the East End. It's called Spark Financial, Florida, and they're going to be dealing with our Canadian clients back home, and now they can deal with the U.S. now too, because they've actually been licensed out in the East Coast. So, plug for financial, Spark Financial, Florida.
Yeah, it's always good to deal with someone who has a presence in Florida because they understand the market. So it's helpful when you deal with someone like that.
So basically, either you can get, if you're a foreign national from Canada, you can deal with our Canadian banks that deal here in Florida, or you can deal with a local mortgage agent. Janet has contacts, we have contacts regarding that. Or the best option is bring cash and ultimately pay the property in cash, and away you go. And again, you talk to if you're going to use your line of credit back home or your home line, then naturally talk to your banks and they'll be able to move the money back into the U.S. and make it legal. Naturally, they're going to do a backtrack to see the money's not money laundering, and you'll be able to get a home.
And another thing to take into account too, Stephen, I think it's your next point, but I'll jump in.
Yeah.
Talk to your tax advisor and your accountant as to how to take title to the property most advantageously for your situation, because that is something that people, you want to avoid dual taxation if you can. You want to make sure that everything's done very much above board so that you don't have any problems with it.
And literally, that's my third point is accountant.
Cheated,
Oh, did you? Okay, there you go. But it's so true, because even now with our process, I know there's some misinformation or misconception regarding double taxation, regarding owning a home in Florida as like a part-time home, and then or a secondary home rather, and then still being back in Canada. So I'm going to explain that in a different segment. It's obviously check in with your tax accountants, but the double taxation, it's not what you think it is. Not that you're paying tax in two countries. You're going to pay tax in the U.S., and whatever tax you pay in the U.S. will be subtracted to the taxes you're going to ultimately pay in Canada. So just little caveat there, but also check in. Like, I'm not a licensed accountant, but this is the information I'm going off of through our professionals that I've hired personally.
And also whether you're going to take it as a trust, whether you're going to take title as a trust or an individual, that can be important too for your estate planning. So.
The fifth point was title company, and just to kind of clarify, back in Canada, we have usually lawyers that will close the transactions. Here in the U.S., it's a title company that would close the transaction. I don't know, Jen, if you want to elaborate on title companies, what they do, because you guys have attorneys that can close a deal if you want.
But, sure. Yeah. Attorneys do close deals here, but most of our transactions are handled through title companies, and they're licensed and bonded, and that's what they do is they check the chain of title, they prorate everything, they make sure all the closing documents are in order, just like an attorney would. So that it's very similar to that. Something that we were just talking about was that in Lee County, which is Bonita, Estero, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Fort Myers Beach, that whole area, if you are buying a resale home, the seller pays the title insurance. If you're working through a builder, you will pay the title insurance. The builder charges you that. In Naples, if you purchase in Naples or Collier County, that's also you will also pay the title insurance in Naples. It's a moderate fee that's based on the price of the home, basically. So it's not a huge amount, but it is something to figure into your closing costs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a cost of doing business.
Sure,
right?
it's just a cost in the closing. So.
Yeah. So it's in every state and also every province back home with the same.
Really?
Yeah, we have to pay, right?
It's funny. In Florida, it's different counties are different. So Naples has a totally different contract than Fort Myers does. So it's just different. You just have to make sure you know where you are. So
well, there you go. That's why if you hire a professional, point one was hire a professional in order to do the business for you, right? So, so that's pretty much it. We're gonna wrap it up. This is Janet Russian, again, managing broker of Treviso Realty. I get expert on the ground. Anything you need, we always reach out to us direct at 647-962-4372. We'd be happy to accommodate you and get you situated here in the state of Florida.